So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us live today on the Little Leaps platform. It's truly a pleasure to see you all. So, as we begin this new year, what better way to start than by focusing on women's health? A topic so vital and relevant to all of us, isn't it? So, in line with this, I am thrilled to introduce our esteemed speaker, Dr. Nitika Jain, a highly accomplished women's health physiotherapist. Dr. Nitika holds a bachelor's degree in physiotherapy from Delhi and a master's degree in musculoskeletal physiotherapy from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. Additionally, she is certified pelvic floor rehabilitation specialist through the International Health and Fitness Association. Dr. Nitika has also undergone extensive training in pelvic health, hormonal health, and overall wellness. So, her impressive academic journey, combined with her practical expertise, has enabled her to make a significant impact on the lives of countless women, empowering them to confidently navigate health challenges in every stages of their lives. So, today, Dr. Nitika will be sharing her insights on the topic balancing health from puberty to menopause. This session promises to deliver invaluable knowledge and practical strategies for managing health through various phases of womanhood. I am sure you will all have wonderful takeaways. Without further ado, I am going to invite Dr. Nitika to introduce herself and begin her presentation. So, over to you, Dr. Nitika.
Thank you so much, Madhuri, for that wonderful introduction. A very welcome to all of you here. And first of all, I would like to congratulate you. You have taken the first and the most important step in your journey towards a healthier version of yourselves. Prioritizing your health and educating yourself about it is, in my opinion, is the foremost step that we all need to take. We women are always juggling our duties and responsibilities, and in return we are just ignoring our health. So I hope that after this session, you will feel empowered, and there will be a lot of takeaways, and you will be able to take some informed decision for your health. Fine. So let's.
Can you please mute yourself, all of you?
So let's move to today's topic, which is balancing health, puberty to menopause. So, though Madhuri has introduced me, I would like to tell you that I have about 15 years plus of experience in the field of physiotherapy, and I have been working with a lot of women now from past 2 to 3 years approximately. And I work with gynecologist, and I work with pregnant females, post pregnancy, elderly females, young females who have problems with their period pain, polycystic ovaries, and many other conditions that they face. So today I will be talking to you about all these things, and let's just start right now. So, the topics that we are going to cover today will be: first is the hormonal changes from puberty to menopause, nutrition and fitness, and how they affect your physical and mental health, effect of physical well being on mental health, effect of sleep on physical and mental health, role of support systems in navigating physical and mental health challenges, role of exercise throughout a female's life, components of fitness and how to include them in your current exercise regime, preventive health screenings for a female, and understanding pelvic health. Since I am a pelvic floor therapist, so I would really want to focus in this topic, which is highly, ignored, and there's not much education about it. So let's start talking about the hormonal changes from puberty to menopause. So, if you see in this picture, as a kid or a child, when she starts growing, when she hits the puberty, there is a steep increase in the hormones. We are here talking about two main hormones, estrogen and progesterone. So these are the two hormones which are secreted by ovaries, which are the female reproductive organs. And once they hit puberty, they start increasing, both of them together. Then, when we come to the menstruation part of it, so menstruation, as we all know, it's a monthly cycle. So, hormones keep on rising and falling throughout the cycle. I'll talk about it separately. Then we come to pregnancy. Pregnancy is a time where both the hormones will peak in your life. They will really reach, they will be in high amounts in your body. And once you give birth, the hormones come down. Then again, the same thing when menstruation keeps on happening, the hormones keeps on fluctuating. And then when you hit menopause, which is the cessation of menstruation, the hormones will start falling down and will be in very low amounts by the time you have completely hit menopause. So this is how the hormonal changes in a female goes. So let's talk about individual incidences. Let's talk about puberty. So when we talk about puberty, what happens is that when the hormones start increasing, there will be a lot of physical and emotional changes that will happen in a female's life. So physically, you will see there is a growth spurt. The breasts will increase. There will be widening of the hips, growth of hair. This we all know. Then there will be a lot of emotional changes also, like mood disturbances. They will yearn for their independence, a detachment from the parents. Sometimes they may feel very self conscious about their appearance because of the changes happening in their body. Or some people might feel really confident with their new appearance. So we cannot define that all the experiences are linear. It will depend from person to person, a female to another female. But yes, there will be a lot of emotional sensitivity during this time, and physically there will be lots of growth, positive growth changes that we will see. And of course, there is a growth of all the reproductive parts in our body. So that is talking about puberty. Right now, let's talk about menstruation. So when a female starts menstruating, initially the cycles may not be regular because body is just getting used to it, used to the increasing hormones. But after a few cycles, it will kind of stick to a regular routine, like 28 days or 30 days or 35 days. Anything is normal between that range. So now in menstruation, what happens is every month, when suppose today is you have finished your cycle, you've just finished with your periods, then the hormones will start increasing. The hormones will start increasing, and how does it affect you? You will feel pretty energetic, in a good mood. You will be able to focus well. Then at a particular point of time, which is the ovulation, that is about 14th or 15th day of your cycle, that time will be the peak of your hormones, and that time you will feel like really good. That will be the best part of your month probably. And that time a lot of energy will be felt. If you are doing any physical activity, you will feel you are able to do it very easily. If you are into any work which requires a lot of mental energy, you will feel you are able to concentrate and focus really well. After that, the hormones start falling down, and you might feel dull, fatigue, in a disrupted mood, which we know as premenstrual syndrome. Just before your period start, you may have felt that you do not feel up to it, right? That is the premenstrual period and premenstrual syndrome, where there will be a lot of mood swings and you feel very low on energy as well. So this is all a play of your hormones. And then finally, when you start menstruating, when you get your periods, that time the hormones will again be low. And it depends how you feel. Most of the time we feel little low, fatigued. But again, when the cycle continues, again the energy levels keep on rising and falling throughout the month. So that's how it goes. Now when we talk about pregnancy, there is a like a surge of hormones at that time, and women will feel really good apart from the symptoms that happen, like initial nausea, vomiting. If we forget about that, there is a sense of euphoria, there is a sense of anticipation as well. But because of the hormones, there will be like a lot of good parts during your pregnancy where you feel really euphoric. And then what happens once you give birth? The hormones fall down. And this is the time where sometimes women may fall into postpartum depression, which is something which goes undetected for many women, right? So there is a difference. I really want to highlight this point. There is a difference between postpartum blues and postpartum depression. Postpartum blues are just, you know, when you're trying to just adjust to that new normal. When you have your baby, you're not having enough sleep, your life has turned totally upside down. Now you have to care for somebody 24/7. So just getting adjusted to that is postpartum blues. But if you are constantly feeling depressed, you are crying all the time, that is a sign of postpartum depression, and it is very very important for you to get yourself checked if you get any of these symptoms. All right. Now, then again, menstruation keeps on happening. That around at the age of 40 years, you start feeling that okay, now my cycles are a little irregular. Sometimes, it's not even happening in any month. And if you take a pregnancy test, even that is negative. But still, something is happening. Sometimes they're coming in 20 days, sometimes it is taking 40 days. So that means you have entered a phase of your life which is known as perimenopause. It is the period which is preceding the menopause, where you are going to totally, your periods will totally stop coming, right? So perimenopause is a phase which usually starts at the age of 40, but now it comes as early as the age of 35 as well. And here the hormones, the progesterone and the estrogen, both will start falling down, like a gradual decrease, but they start falling down. And when you hit menopause, the hormones will be very, very low, very very low. And if for 1 year you have not had periods at all for consecutive 12 months, that means you have hit the menopause. The average age for menopause in Indian females is about 50 years. But due to a lot of lifestyle changes, we can say that now the age is coming becoming lesser. The average age is becoming lesser. It comes at 45, 48, like that. And there are some extreme cases where we will have menopause at the age of 35, 36, like that, before 40 as well. So why am I telling this is that whenever you are getting any these kind of symptoms, it is best to get yourself checked, because we don't know that if you are inching towards perimenopause or menopause. It can be anything. So it is very very important that if you are around the age of 35 to between 35 to 50, if you find any changes in your cycle, I will come to different signs and symptoms as well. First and foremost is, if you find any changes in your cycle, do consult a gynecologist. All right. So these are the changes that happen from puberty to menopause. Now we will specifically talk about estrogen, right here. Why estrogen is really really important for you? Estrogen is a hormone which has, of course, it helps in the reproductive system of our body, but it has a cardioprotective effect. So as long as your estrogen is good in your body, you have very positive effects on your cardiorespiratory system. Your heart is kind of protected because of estrogen. And then another function that estrogen has is maintaining bone health. It helps in the growth and maturation of the bones. So now what happens in perimenopause and menopause, when the estrogen is falling down, what happens? The bones start becoming weaker. They start becoming brittle, and there's a lot of risk of fractures happening. The condition we known as osteoporosis. You must have heard this term, osteoporosis, where your bones will be weak and brittle. So that is how, why I am telling you this, because physical activity is the most important thing to prevent this. Okay, we'll come to it later, but still. Then it has a cardioprotective effect. So when estrogen falls down, that cardioprotective effect is taken away. So that's how exercise and physical activity becomes all the more important to strengthen your cardiopulmonary system. Okay, so there can be many symptoms of low estrogen levels, which you might be facing if you are in that age group, like night sweats, hot flashes, difficulty sleeping, anxiety, depression, inability to focus, all those things, irregular periods, change in your libido. Some people may have increased libido, some people may be facing decreased libido, vaginal dryness, which results in painful intercourse. So people are not even talking about it, but this is something again really important. Vaginal dryness can also even lead to some vaginal infections if your vagina is not well lubricated because of low estrogen. So my advice is that if you are facing any of these symptoms, if at all, please go and check with your gynecologist. All right. So this is about the hormonal changes that we are experiencing throughout the life of a female. Now, let's talk about nutrition and fitness and its effect on physical and mental health. So, we all know that physical health and nutrition have a connection. You are what you eat, right? So, physically, the way if you have a very good balanced diet, nutritious diet, of course, your body will also feel good. Feel good in the sense that you will have a good body composition. The lean mass and the fat mass that we talk about, that will be well maintained, and you will not have any kind of deficiencies which can lead to some or the other disease. So physical part, we all know that if we eat well, our bodies also maintain themselves. But let's talk about the mental health part, the food mood connection. Okay, so now it has been proven, there is a growing evidence that diet and mental illness are closely linked. In a 2019 study, it was found that when people who have mental health challenges increase their fruit and vegetable intake, it reduces their symptoms. And like I'm just giving a small example, the complex carbs like whole grain breads or millets, all these they will help in increasing serotonin production. Serotonin, just think of it as a happy hormone, okay, which keeps your mood really peppy. It increases the serotonin production but keep the glucose levels in balance. Whereas if you choose simple carbs like soda, candy, or the processed fast food, then it will also give you a serotonin rush, but it will also cause a spike in your glucose levels. So it is nowadays you would have seen that a lot of people are avoiding carbs, right? Apart from not just fats but also carbs, but carbs are extremely important for our body because they help in serotonin production. So that satiety of after eating doesn't come if you do not consume carbs. There will be always a irritability in your mood if you are not taking carbs at all. So it is advisable to consume complex carbs instead of simple carbs. In simple terms, like just direct sugar, that will increase the glucose levels in your body, which is again harmful. But if you take complex carbs, if you go into the traditional way of eating that our ancestors used, using different kind of grains, not processing it too much, then those things will give you a feeling of satiety, and it will also not spike your glucose. So yes, food mood connection is very much proven, and it now even the psychologists and psychiatrists who are working with mental health patients, they are keep considering their diet as well to understand what is going on, what they are eating, and how it is affecting their mental health. So definitely diet plays a very big role in your physical and mental health. Okay, let's go to the next part. Okay, so let's talk about effect of physical well-being on mental health. So if you are physically fit, how it is going to affect your mental health. So as you can see in this picture, you can, if you are physically active with anything like a sport or running or even walking, cycling, any kind of physical activity that you are doing, it is helping you to reduce stress, improve your mood, improve your sleep, it slows dementia and cognitive decline, lowers the risk of depression, lifts self esteem. So, all these things are happening if you are maintaining a good physical health. and you are doing a physical activity on daily basis. So I'm sure many of you are doing it and you would have found that change, that effect. So I can speak for myself that I do some form of physical activity every day. I get physically exhausted, but mentally it is stress relieving. It's a stress buster, right? So this comes from experience on myself. So I vouch for it that physical activity definitely helps with your mental health. So it is a very easy way of helping yourself if you are having any mental health challenges. I mean, as simple as stress. I mean, of course, if it's a medical condition, it's a different thing. But if in your daily life you are feeling a lot of stress, lot of anxiety, physical activity is one thing which you must take up. All right. Okay, now let's come to another thing that most of us are kind of ignoring, the value of sleep on physical and mental health. So, we spend approximately a third of our lives asleep, and it is as essential to our bodies as eating, drinking, and breathing, and is vital for maintaining good mental and physical health. So, what happens is when you're sleeping, it's not just your bodies are getting repaired, it's your brain also, which is actually getting repaired and restored. So what happens while sleep, we can process information, we can consolidate memories and undergo a number of maintenance processes throughout the body that help us to function during the daytime, which we don't even realize. Like there are a lot of processes happening in our body during sleep. So maintaining a good sleep hygiene is very, very important. Having a good 7 to 8 hours sleep will do most of the work for you if you are able to do that. So let's talk about how to maintain a good sleep hygiene. So what are the uh, things that you must do for a good sleep? First of all, you should have the same routine, as in you sleep at the same time and you get up at the same time, right? Evening walks are known to help with sleep. Like a mild physical activity, even a gentle relaxing yoga also will help you to get a good sleep. Then you should have a comfortable bed and pillow, cool and dark room. So usually the temperatures of about 17 to 20 degrees are considered to be ideal for a good sleep. And you have to have a dark room, block out all the lights. Why? Because the hormone melatonin, which is responsible for making you sleepy, for getting you fall asleep, melatonin, it works only when there is darkness. Okay, so it gets activated only when there is dark. So you have to block out the lights for a good sleep. Then you should have a bedtime routine. So like every day if you follow, okay, I will do this, I will go brush my teeth, then I will read a book for some time, and then I will sleep. And also I would like to say that use your bed only when you feel sleepy. Don't do other activities on your bed. You can use a couch or a chair, table, wherever you do the work, but you come to the bed only when you feel sleepy. That is found to be one of the major factors, because your body then associates bed with sleep. Only bed associates only sleep with the bed. Then a relaxing bath can also help in a good night's sleep. What are the no-nos? Blue light, which is, I think, the biggest culprit right now for not having a good night's sleep. We are unable to switch off our devices, and the screen time that we are giving, at least 30 minutes to 1 hour before you want to sleep, the screens have to be switched off. See, your body has to go into a rest and digest mode, right? Not in a fight and flight kind of mode. There are two responses in our body. So, when we are watching screens, what is happening? We are always at a subconscious level, we are always aroused. We are in a hyper state. because we are seeing content, we are listening to something. Listening to relaxing music on your phone can work, but if you are always looking, and blue light, the blue light that is that you are seeing is actually interfering with the melatonin production. As I said, melatonin works only when there is darkness. So 30 minutes is the minimum, but 1 hour before, if you are able to stay away from your screen, it would really, really help you, to get good sleep at night. Then, of course, alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, all these things will interfere because they're all have a arousal kind of nature. So we have to avoid that well before bedtime. Any hard training, I mean, light yoga and walks are okay, but any kind of heavy activities, very high intensity activities, like even 2 hours before the bedtime, can interfere with your sleep. And any kind of stress, like if you have like if you're working and if you have late night calls, office work and all, somehow, I don't know, I know it is very, very difficult to do that by 11 you should, like, sometimes many people have calls which keep on going till 11 o'clock, and then they just want to sleep, but they sleep on that stress, so their sleep might be disturbed in that case. So even if you have to have some conversations which can, are very stressful or something, it should happen well before your sleeping time. Even if you have to plan for the next day, if you are anxious about the next day, you write it down. Whatever you have to plan, you write it down, keep it away. After that, you relax half an hour to 45 minutes before you sleep. Choose your way of relaxation, be it reading books, listening to music, playing with your kids, or whatever. But half an hour to 45 minutes you give to your body and mind to calm down, to down regulate the system, and then go to sleep. So this is something which is absolutely easily available to us, but we are not able to harness the power of sleep. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Role of support systems in navigating physical and mental health challenges. So what is a support system? It's a network of people that can provide you with practical or emotional support. So it is basically, when you are in a tough situation, it is a group of people that you can lean on, ask for help. That's a support system. So how can you make or develop your support system? For example, there are some examples that I've given here. Consider joining, like I'm talking about physical health right now. Consider joining a sports team or workout group, or have a gym buddy to boost your mood, improve your physical health, and that also gives you the opportunity to interact with others. So socializing is also a very, very important part for having a sound mental health in all of us. Now, you can also review your current social circles and family relationships, and then single out the people who offer the most positive but truthful advice. Another way is you be open to the idea of asking for help. This help can be from your friends, your relatives, your mentors, your teachers, anybody, but it can be a professional help as well. Like if you're struggling with your physical fitness, you can take help of a physiotherapist, or a physical health educator, or even a gym trainer. If you are struggling with some mental health issues, then you can take help from mental health expert. So it is very important for us to identify that we are unable to sort this issue on our own, and graciously accept that we need help. That is what is happening. It is, for women it is happening a lot at this age, usually 35 to 40. There is, as the common term, midlife crisis that you would have heard, that it is nothing but a hormonal shift that is happening, and a lot of mental health challenges are coming up with that. But women are unable to accept that we are going through some kind of mental challenge, and they are not seeking help, though there is a solution to those problems. But until and unless you identify something as a problem, you can never find a solution to that problem, right? So, and it is not just affecting you, but it is also affecting your kids, your family, your work, everything. So it is really important to identify that you need professional help. Of course, you can start with trying it out with your friends or your family. You can speak to them, have them as your support system, definitely. But even after that, if you are unable to sort that issue, please do not hesitate in taking professional help with any kind of physical, mental, emotional health challenges that you are facing. All right. Now, next, yeah. So, role of exercise throughout a female's life. So, as you see, right from childhood till the senior years, I would say, for elderly females, exercise has a role throughout the life. So, how does exercise help in each phase of your life? I'll discuss that now. Yeah, so children and adolescents aged 5 to 17 years. So, World Health Organization has these recommendations that they should do at least an average of 60 minutes per day of moderate to vigorous intensity, mostly aerobic physical activity across the week. So this is a WHO recommendation, and now maybe all of you who have kids in that age group, can you just take a minute, take a moment to see if your kids are doing that kind of exercise or not? And if not, we must you know uh, put them or start them on some kind of physical activity, because let me tell you, for females this is the foundation of their future health. So, right now, if they engage in that kind of physical activity, their bones start absorbing more and more calcium, which makes their bones stronger. And later, as I told you, when estrogen falls down, the bones start becoming brittle. So, it has been found, studies have found that females who have been working out right from their early years, they did not face those challenges as much in the later years of their life. So this is the time where the foundation is laid, right? So that is why WHO has recommended that 60 minutes of physical activity, mostly aerobic, and later as the child grows after the puberty, they can start even working on their muscles with many ways, like lifting weights or just body weight exercises like squats, push-ups. All those things can come. That's like a vast topic to discuss. But later, once their bones, if you know that the bones have to fuse in puberty, like what you see here is it's actually three parts for kids, and once they hit puberty it all joins up. So once that fusion has happened, after that they can start lifting weights also. So this is, again, I would like to emphasize that childhood and adolescence is the very good time for us to develop our muscles and bones, and it will be a lifetime investment. It is going to come handy later in your life. Okay. So, and the last point, if you see, should limit the amount of time spent being sedentary, particularly the amount of recreational screen time. So again, present world problem, increasing screen times. So it's all correlated. Once you a lot of screen time, lot of sedentary time, and less of physical activity. All right. So now let's talk about specific conditions and different aspects of a female's life where exercise helps. So conditions like periods pain, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis. In all these conditions, specific exercises, yoga poses, activity modification, pelvic floor physiotherapy, all of this can help you. So it's not just about losing weight, it's about having some activity, physical activity, some specific physical activity in your life which will help with these conditions. So it's see, all these lifestyle disorders need a holistic approach. It's not just the diet or the exercise or just the medication that is going to help you. It's a combination of all of them that is going to actually help you. So definitely, whoever has PCOS or have very heavy period cramps or endometriosis, where there is a lot of belly pain as well, I mean abdominal pain as well, all these conditions can be helped with the help of pelvic floor physiotherapy and specific exercises, yoga, whatever you choose. But that part also has to be emphasized. Then If you see, pregnancy fitness and post pregnancy recovery with special focus on pelvic floor and core strength. We'll come to this later when I explain to you about pelvic health. Then females between the age of 20 and 40, if they are not childbearing, then we need to work on their strength, mobility, body recomposition. So again, there could be exercises which will help with that. Beyond 40, exercises which are targeted towards improving bone density and muscle mass. Let me tell you, every after 30 years of age, every year you will be losing some of your muscle mass. So it's not just the bones that we have to work on, we have to work on the muscle mass as well. After 30, every year some amount of muscle will be lost, and if you do not work on it, it will never be gained back, and the muscles will keep on getting weaker and weaker, which you may realize only when you reach at a particular age like 60, 65 or something, where activities as simple as sit to stand or stand to sit becomes very tedious. So, beyond 40, exercises which are targeted towards improving bone density and muscle mass and navigation through perimenopause and menopause. So, physical activity has a big role in help you navigate through perimenopause and menopause. Then we come to strength, balance, coordination, mobility training for elderly females to promote independence. So, if we all have elderlies in our families, so the biggest challenge is that they are not independent, they are unable to do their basic tasks on their own. But if we start working on their physical health, physical fitness levels, I would say, at an early stage, the independence can be promoted. The independence to do the activities of daily living on their own can definitely be promoted. So, as you see, that physical activity has a role at every stage of your life. And also, if you see, in elderly females, they have an issue with in controlling their bladder and bowel. So we have specific exercises to have to teach them control that as well. And simple aerobic activities for a cardioprotective effect. As I said, that when estrogen is falling, the cardioprotective effect is also falling down. So the risk of heart diseases will increase. But with some kind of simple aerobic activity, you can have that protective effect on your heart as well. Okay. Now, uh, yeah, so let's talk about what are the components of fitness and how do you include them in your exercise regimen. So, whenever you are exercising, it's not that you have to do only one type of exercise. We have to have all these components in our exercise routine: strength, cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, muscular endurance, and body composition, which is mostly a function of the diet, what we are eating. So it is very evident with the pictures itself. What do I mean when I say all of that? But still, I'll quickly go through each one of it. So strength is your ability to lift weights. So if you see in your daily life, of course, you don't have to always lift weights, but you might have to carry a child all the time and walk. Sometimes you may have to carry two big bags of grocery and walk. So the ability to lift weights, and definitely it helps with your bone density and muscle mass. So strength training is very, very important for female of any age. Right after they hit puberty, their bones are fused, they can start weight training. Then cardiovascular endurance, which means the power for you to do any kind of aerobic activity like walking, running, jumping, swimming, any activity which is prolonged, or playing any sport for that matter. So that is your cardiovascular endurance. Then talking about flexibility, the ability to move a joint through its complete range without pain or stiffness is called flexibility, right? So, as simple as that, are you able to touch your toes? That's a very good indicator of your flexibility. Then we have muscular endurance. For how long can you hold a posture? So that is very, very relevant in today's world because we are holding a lot of postures for a prolonged period of time, sitting for a long period of time, standing for a prolonged period of time, right? So your muscles should have the power to support you when you are doing those prolonged postures. Ideally, you should not be holding prolonged postures in first place, but sometimes it is just not possible because of your work schedules or the demands of your work. You have to sit 2 hours in front of a system. You are unable to take breaks, you are unable to move around, and then you end up with some of the aches and pains in your shoulders, backs, neck, like that. So whenever, even if you're doing you're going to the gym or whatever, but are you considering all of these components? Are they all part of your exercise routine or not? That is a question to ask. Are you doing strength training? Are you doing something for your flexibility? Are you doing some aerobic activity? And another thing I would like to add, especially for elderly females, balance and coordination, because that with age it gets altered. So the risk of falls is exponentially increased because they are unable to balance themselves. So yes, for elderly females, balance activities also come into play. So yeah, that was about how to plan your exercise regime. Okay, so we are almost close to finishing today's presentation. Where now we will talk about preventive health screenings for a female. See, we all know prevention is better than cure. So there are certain things which are an absolutely necessary for us to do when we are hitting 35, 40. So these are some of the preventive health screenings that are recommended. First is your breast cancer screening. There are two ways to get it done. One is the mammogram and the self breast exam. What is a mammogram? Mammogram is just a kind of special X-ray which is done on your breast and which can identify any kind of cancerous or even pre-cancerous cells. Okay, any changes in those cells can be identified, and early detection means better outcomes. Also, self breast exam. So every month any female who's above the age of 35 should start doing self breast examination. But nowadays, that reminds me, nowadays we are seeing breast cancer cases in females as early as 21 years of age. So maybe that can be started even earlier now. So if you find anything which is unusual, any kind of lumps, any kind of discharge from your nipples, then that's a sign for you to check with your doctor. But it is recommended that after the age of 40, every 2 years you should do a mammogram. Okay. Then talking about cervical cancer, again, two ways to do that: pap smear and HPV test. So, what is a cervical cancer? Your uterus, the mouth of the uterus is called the cervix, and it is caused, this is the only cancer which is caused by a virus, HPV, which is known as human papilloma virus. And you would have heard also now, even government of India has made it, like not like a mandate, but yes, they're promoting that females after the age of 9 till the age of 45 should take the HPV vaccine to prevent the cervical cancer, because it has a very very high rate of prevalence and it is pretty aggressive. Okay, so cervical cancer, again, two ways to detect it: pap smear or HPV test. Pap smear is, again, they take few cells from your cervix, and then they watch it under the microscope, and then they are able to identify if there are any changes to those cells. Are there precancerous cells or cancerous cells? And HPV test actually tries to find out if there is a human papilloma virus in your cervix, right? So again, after the age of 35 to 40, pap smear should be done for females. And now, again, talking about this vaccine, we have a Indian made vaccine as well. Till current time, we were using a vaccine which is made in US, but now India is also making a vaccine of its own for cervical cancer. Then the bone density test. Again, as I said, with the falling levels of estrogen, the density of the bone comes down. So DEXA scan is a scan which helps to know that what is the status of our bones. Then blood pressure monitoring, very very important. If you have a family history, same for diabetes and lipid profile. and even thyroid function test. So all of these things have to be monitored after the age of 40 for sure, but if you have a family history, then they need to be monitored even earlier. And it's not it's like an annual checkup that you do. It's not that you have to measure very regularly, but it's like an annual routine checkup where you include the lipid test, the diabetes, HbA1c, fasting glucose, thyroid function test, blood pressure monitoring. And if any of the parameters are not within the range, then of course you have to see your doctor, and then they will decide how frequently you need to get it done. And the last one is your complete blood count. That will help you to know the status of overall health, any kind of infections or anemia, because anemia is also a very common condition in females. Excuse me. No, it is very, very common in females, especially females who have huge bleeding during their periods. Sometimes they get used to that low levels of hemoglobin. They have not got checked, but they have low levels of hemoglobin, and they constantly complain of fatigue all the time, feeling tired and fatigue all the time. So a very, very simple blood test, just a simple blood test can identify the levels of your hemoglobin, and if it is less, it means you are anemic. So once that is recovered, you start feeling energetic again. So it is again a very undermined test, but a very basic test. So these are the preventive health screenings that are recommended. Okay, now we come to the last part of today's session, understanding pelvic health. So this is something which most of you may not have heard about. Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is that there are muscles down there around your vagina, around your vulva, your anus, from where you poop, from where you pass urine. All of these areas, all of these openings are controlled by some muscles, pelvic floor muscles. Okay, so it is very important, first of all, to identify that, okay, there are muscles over there also. And like any other muscle in the body, they also need some kind of work done on them to maintain their strength. What are their functions? The most important function is controlling the opening and closing of the three orifices of your body: the vagina, the urinary opening, and your bowel opening, the anus. Okay, so once you want to urinate or you want to defecate, pass motion, then these muscles have to relax. Only then that will happen. And for you to be able to have control over your bowel and bladder, these muscles should be able to contract. So when you are able to have good control over this, it is known as you are a continent person. Continent. If you do not have control over your bowel and bladder, that means you are incontinent. So you can have urinary incontinence, that you do not have control over your bladder. You may be leaking when you are sneezing, you are coughing, sometimes even just bending down, or if you are jumping, if you exercise, then maybe with jumps you are leaking urine. When you're running, you are leaking urine, and that may be stopping you from pursuing those activities, right? So but there is a solution to that, and pelvic floor physiotherapy is specially targeted on that. Okay, so these muscles can be weak, can be tight also. It's not just they do not have weakness, it can be tight also. There are many conditions where pelvic floor muscles are tight and people experience constipation. They're unable to insert a tampon or a menstrual cup. They are unable to get a gynecological exam done because their openings will not open, their vagina will not open. They are unable to have penetrative intercourse because their muscles are so tight, and uh, there is no penetrative intercourse happening. So that's also a problem, right? So these are the conditions that females right now probably don't know of. And now I would say I am very much into this field where I am promoting education about this part of your body, which is very much ignored. And this becomes very, very important for us because we go through pregnancy and post pregnancy phases, and there is lot of physical trauma, birthing trauma, and lot of trauma to the muscles around this area. And most of the problems will start only after you have given birth. The problem of unable to control the urge to use the bathroom repeatedly, just in case pee. Whenever you're going to a mall, you're always looking, okay, okay, let me find out where is the washroom first, and then I will go around, because you know, when you will have that urge, you won't be able to control it. But these are all common, but not normal. So these issues are very, very common. I'm sure one of you would have definitely faced this issue, but you wouldn't have ever reported to your doctor about it, right? So we have solutions to all these issues. So it is very, very important to, consider it as not normal even after pregnancy. So, I would want you to seek help if you are facing any such kind of issues. Even constipation, simple exercises, simple breathing techniques can help you with constipation. I'm not saying that is the only solution, but it is also, it's just like part of the solutions that we have, the holistic approach that I'm talking about, right? So, yeah, this is about a small introduction about pelvic health. There are many things to it, but yes, I wanted to tell you that what are the common issues people face, and there are solutions to those problems. So, yeah, I think we are done. Yeah. Okay. So, I hope you find it really not. I mean, some help to you to get to know about certain things which you did not know. Uh, yeah, over to you,
Indeed.
Madhuri.
Indeed, indeed, it is very, very insightful. And actually, I want to share my own experience of um, having the small leakages while I just started. I began to, play badminton. So when I started, I used to do a lot of physical exercise in terms of yoga, walking, and running. But then I had a big gap of around 1.5 years, and then post that, when I decided that I want to start or get back into my normal exercising routine, I
Yes.
realized that I was not able to skip properly because every 20 jumps I would
Yes.
leak. And it was
Yes.
quite embarrassing,
Yes, absolutely.
right? So it was quite difficult for me to begin with. And of course, as you rightly mentioned, that many women hesitate sharing it with anybody, assuming that it is a normal issue and it will be, yeah, it is
You
self
have
healing.
to
So
live with it.
yeah, yeah, it will be self healing, and you will recover, you will get over it. Um, Fortunately, because I started doing the exercise without knowing, without having the
Mm.
knowledge of why this was happening, actually it got better. But having
Great.
said this, if somebody is aware of this, there definitely are preventive measures. And I'm sure if you would like to discuss about small, as you said, physical
Mhm.
activity is the key. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the best preventive measures to have to cure any kind of issues related to muscles and
Yes.
and bones, isn't it?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yes, so like I just want to emphasize that the area down there is also a part of your body. So it is very, very important to not ignore it and treat it like any other part of your body. The muscles work exactly the same way, the way they work in any other part of your body. If you are doing biceps, then you need to work on your pelvic floor as well. And but it is very, very important to identify first that whether they are weak or they are tight, because just I mean, many of you would have heard kegels exercises, kegels, which are very, very famous, just contracting and relaxing the muscle. But that may not be the solution every time, and sometimes we will have tight muscles, and keeping just doing kegels will make it more and more tight. So it is very, very important for you to get yourself assessed once, with the help of your gynecologist and a pelvic floor physiotherapist. Once they assess, then they will be able to tell you exactly what you need to do. And let me tell you, any problem with your body is not the it's not in isolation. It is all related. If you have a pain in the neck, the cause may be somewhere in the back. If you have a problem in your pelvis, the problem may be just with your hips, or maybe with your abdomen, or maybe with your chest, or maybe just your breathing is not right. So it's all interconnected. It's a chain. Okay. So it is very, very important for you to get yourself assessed, take help, and then of course you can work on your own. Once you have the right knowledge and right guidance, then of course you can work on your own.
Yeah. So, I had certain questions that I just, pointed out while you were giving the presentation. So you were talking about physical activity and its importance, and at least basic walk every
Yes.
day is also very, very helpful. Now I am
Yes.
sure there are many women having a lot of domestic commitment and professional commitment, and not really finding that work life balance, and
Yes.
hence having that challenge to even find out those 15-20 minutes or 50 minutes of walk or half an hour of walk. Do you suggest any kind of exercise that they can do? Like, there are many videos these days on social media which keeps, saying you don't need to go out and walk and do physical activity, going in a gym and all. Instead, at home while working, simultaneously, you can also focus on certain muscles and work upon it. Do you suggest that? And if so, what are these things that, a woman can do and still manage a basic physical health for themselves?
Sure. Very good question, Madhuri. Because of our current lifestyle, we are unable to take out time for physical activity. So, first of all, it's not necessary, to walk at a stretch, right? That, okay, mujhe 30 minutes mein I have to finish, continuously have to walk. It's not like that. You can take 10 minutes of walking. If you are at your workplace, like even when after lunch, you can just walk for 10 minutes, or maybe you can just go a flight of stairs up and down 2 to 3 times. Even that helps you. This is about aerobic activity that I'm talking. Walking, like for example, if you are taking calls, if it's not a video call, if you're just talking over the phone, you incorporate walking at the time of taking that call.
Mm,
Just keep on walking when you're talking over the phone, right? That can be done. And definitely you can split the walk, and sometimes counting the steps, people prefer to do that. So ideally they say 10,000 steps, but the latest study says even 7,500 steps are enough for you to do every day. I like 7500 and upwards, but
okay.
like I'm just helping you out. 7,500 is also okay if you're not able to reach 10,000. So
Mm,
once that also sometimes helps us, it's kind of motivates us. Okay, I have done 5,000, I just have to do 2,500 more. Let me walk and finish it off.
mm,
If you take it that way. So that's about aerobic activity. Stair climbing and walking are two things that I usually suggest people who have busy routines, that whenever there is a chance, you just walk. Even in your house, even at your workplace, just go around the office and come back and sit. Consider it as a physical activity. Taking breaks is the key. Not holding any posture for a prolonged period of time is very, very important. Okay, that is one thing. Then, very simple body weight exercises like squats. Okay, sitting down and coming up. Now we are not using Indian toilets. Have we been using Indian toilets? This would never have been an exercise for us. So squats, wall push-ups, then lunges. There are certain exercises where we use our own body weight to strengthen our body. We do not need to go to the gym and lift weights, but just using our own body weight, like planks. So
mm,
all these simple exercises will help you to build strength and also work on your bone mineral density. But again, it's better to have a baseline fitness level to do all these. How many number, repetitions, intensity, all those things need to be considered. Otherwise, they will land up with aches and pains later.
mm, mm,
So my suggestion would be that get yourself assessed, check your baseline fitness level, get a fitness plan done for you, and then do it rather than just following any kind of videos, because there's lots and lots of content, and it is not for everybody and for every fitness level. It's not like it suits everybody. It's not like that. It
That's
has
what
to
I
be
keep saying,
individualized. Yeah.
if everybody nowadays think that all the social media content is the favorite
Yeah.
guru, but each body is different, each ecosystem is different, and your requirement mentally and physically is also quite different. Every
Absolutely.
individual has different requirements, so we have to rely on somebody who is an expert, and who can guide us better rather than assuming this is what I have based on certain. Like recently, I was watching this video about 5 symptoms that will let you know that you are about to have an heart attack. And some of the symptoms, I don't remember them, but some of the symptoms were pretty much also common for people with high sugar level, not even diabetes, just high sugar level. Now, it's a cause of panic for many people, isn't it?
Correct, correct,
So
absolutely.
it's always good for us to not blindly depend on these kind of videos and assess our body. It's always good to reach out to an expert if you think that these symptoms are causing any kind of imbalance or mental, instability in you, right? So
So yeah,
that's
one
always good.
size fits all doesn't work here.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, some certain things very, very basic like walking, yes, everybody can take up, even with minimal level of fitness, anybody can take up. But the exercises which are actually going to be effective for you needs a baseline level of fitness level assessment done by a qualified trainer or a physiotherapist, where they assess how much you can do, and then they give you an exercise plan which suits you. So
So,
yes.
so Nitika, would you suggest a gym instructor giving these kind of suggestions, or is it good to reach out to a health expert like a physiotherapist or somebody else?
See, if you are facing any issues,
Mm.
uh, I would say that then definitely you must see a physiotherapist, because a physiotherapist is qualified in assessing your muscles, joints, bones, everything. So once they assess your strength, endurance, flexibility, balance, and then they design a exercise program for you. But yes, some people who feel we don't have any problems, we can do, then definitely even a gym trainer can help them out.
Now, why am I asking this is nowadays many. Before I say this, Umi has a question. Umi, we will come to your question. Let us just finish this conversation first. So, yeah, why I'm asking this is because many gym trainers will give many kinds of suggestion. The problem, what happens is these days it's become a common incident of people dying on the treadmill, right, with a cardiac arrest. So, do you think it is better to, reach out to somebody who is more understanding of what the body needs rather than a gym instructor who only focuses on the physical aspect of the body and
Yeah.
not the biological, the
Correct. Yeah,
needs?
definitely, definitely. See, it also depends again what kind of gym instructor he or she is. What are his credentials? From where has he done his certification? Right? If somebody has done it from ACSM, which is American College of Sports Medicine, I would say yes, you can follow what he's saying. So it all depends. Every profession, may every person is as good as what the person is. So, but yes, if we feel that there can be some health hazards, or we already are experiencing some kind of health concerns, then definitely it is important to go to an expert, a health expert, a physical health expert like a physiotherapist, or even just go to your physician and ask him, and get a basic checkup done, like your blood pressure, sugar levels, thyroid function, lipid profile, all those things get checked. Then get your body checked in terms of strength, endurance, flexibility, balance by a physiotherapist, and then you start working out. Yes, it can be. It would be definitely advisable to do that.
Yeah, yeah, because these days this is what is happening. Many people just blindly follow whatever
Yes.
is being told, and then it
Yeah.
leads to many kind of un, inevitable or sometimes
Like
unforeseen circumstances or
unforeseen
situations. Yeah.
circumstances. That's true. And what happens, Madhuri, is if somebody has been exercising from a very long time, and then when they pick up something new by looking at a video or something on social media, then also it is okay, because they have known their bodies from a very long time. They know what works, what doesn't work, what I can do, what I cannot do. But for a beginner, it is not at all advisable to blindly follow something which is not led by an expert, and the person is not there to monitor you physically, right? So suppose even if, for example, you are doing some exercise, but if somebody is supervising you, they will immediately stop you from doing if your form is not correct. Okay, Madhuri, don't do this. This is going to hurt you. This is going to hurt your muscle, or you are going to injure your joint. And so if some expert is there, they will stop you from doing. But what happens in video formats, it's only a one-sided thing that is happening. You're just watching and doing. But what is happening to your body, nobody knows.
Right. Right. And then the reasons for a lot of cramps and other.
Yes, yes, yes. And very important, warm up and cool down are sometimes neglected because of they are short on time.
Mm.
So, but again, that is very, very, very important part. If you don't do a good warm up and a cool down, you are bound to have injuries. If not on that day, maybe 10 days later, you will definitely have some kind of injury, which will push you back from where you started. So,
Right.
there's no point in doing that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Umi has this question. She's asking, can you suggest exercises at home as her mother has knee and back pain and she's avoiding to walk?
Uh, Umi, it's again like without assessing the person, it is very difficult to advise any kind of exercises. I would say it is absolutely unethical to do that until and unless I see your mom. I just cannot randomly give you any exercises. So I would advise you to see an expert and get herself checked and then follows any kind of exercises.
There is another question that I wanted to ask. So, uh, you were discussing about the screen time, right? And the amount of screen time is leading to sedentary life, isn't it? Now, there are myriads of variety of content that is being posted and watched by millions of children and children and adults equally. So, do you also think that the quality of content that people are watching has an impact on their mental health, or the kind of content they are watching is a symptom or a sign of some kind of mental health?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I would say it's a vicious circle that, one, it's a chicken and egg story probably, that one leads to another. But yes, the kind of content that is being watched definitely affects your mental state. Definitely. I told you before also there are two systems in our body. One is rest, relax, digest, and the other one is fight, flight, and fright. So whenever we watch something which causes a kind of adrenaline rush in our body, that leads us to a state of arousal, and we are always, our hormones are just rushing in our body, and we are raring to go. That kind of rush that we are getting. So yes, and then later what happens? Not just children, even the adults are unable to switch it off, switch that system off. We
Right.
are unable to go back to our rest, relax, digest mode. Okay, and then that is affecting your sleep. Once your sleep is getting affected, your next day is getting affected. So many people, many females and children as well are in a constant low level, constant state of arousal all the time.
Mm.
They may not even realize it, but
Mm.
they're always in that kind of mode where, they cannot just sit idle even for a second. They feel something is missing, they need to do something, they need to watch something, they need to, something that needs to be done. That means their body is not just calming down at all. And when I talk of this, nowadays, if you lot of stress and tension females are holding in their pelvic floor, that is also seen. Lot of lot of emotional stress, it has been found that they are holding in their pelvic floor muscles, and they constantly hold it, and that is a very, very big reason for constipation in females.
Interesting.
So yes, and second, yes, so probably I don't know what to say about this. A mental health expert would be able to answer this better. But yes, the what you said is that probably there is something going on in the mind of the kids and adults that they are watching that particular content the other way.
mm,
Yeah, that might also be true, but I'm not sure if I have studied that a lot. But yes, this I have seen that a lot of people are in a constant low level constant state of arousal where they are just not able to shut their mind down even for few minutes.
no, why I ask this question is because midlife crisis is a
Is it?
thing, right?
It,
It's reality, and
Hmm.
as you rightly mentioned, that people are unaware of this phenomenon.
Yes.
It's part of human development. It's not just applicable for women, but also for men as well,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So this is it has been in um, biologically it is a part of you, midlife crisis, and not knowing it is something that might be causing those mental hitches or problems, right?
Yeah.
So what are your suggestions for people to realize and identify? Do you have any signs and symptoms that people can, because I think most of the audiences here will be in that age where there may be maybe an onset of midlife crisis, so a slight bit of awareness will help them to
Yeah.
align themselves
See,
properly.
so apart from any kind of physical symptoms that we are seeing, as I mentioned, that irregular periods or vaginal dryness, all those things. See, uh, headaches,
Mm,
one thing. Then second is your mood swings, heavy mood swings. Like it may take time for you to realize that this thing in me has changed.
mm,
Maybe your family would point out, maybe your husband or your kid might point out, okay mama, you are getting angry very easily nowadays. For very small thing you are scolding me, or your husband might say that you are snapping at the drop of a hat. So that time you need to think, if those episodes are repeatedly happening, irritability basically, I would say, irritability, and emotionally you are very fragile at that. Usually you're not, you're a very strong person, but at a particular point of time you are very fragile. You are crying and crying for no reason,
mm,
right? So this has happened with me, honestly. At my age, I'm going through perimenopause, and I have faced such symptoms. And it was, like very, very surprising for me that what is going on with me. It happened, but I was able to identify that okay, this is going on with me. So yes, it is very, very important for us to know and identify and accept it. That okay, this is just a phase. It will go away. This is something that you have to go through in life, and this is all happening because of your hormones. I'm talking only about females right now. It is only happening because of the hormonal changes that are happening in your body around a specific age or a specific window of time, that I would say. So yes, mood swings, irritability, headaches, sleep disturbances, all of these are signs of the so-called midlife crisis. And you may be taking certain decisions which do not resonate with your personality. That also happens.
yeah,
You know,
very
it is
erratic. Yeah.
very surprising. Yeah, something erratic is happening. Usually, I will not do this, but now I am doing this.
Mm,
So yes, so yeah, it's a very good question, Madhuri. That yes, it is very important to look from a third perspective what is going on with you, so that okay, something is wrong here. Let me find out more about it. Maybe I should check with a health expert and learn more about it and see what can I do about it.
mm.
So
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
physical activity has personally helped me a lot
Mm,
to navigate through this phase. And as Madhuri knows, that I also play badminton very regularly, and it has been a very, very big stress buster for me.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying that go and play badminton, but do some physical activity. It is really going to help you.
Yeah, this is why we discussed also what to do if we are not able to make the time for walk or to go to gym or do any physical activity.
But Madhuri, I would say that it's like physical activity in your daily routine is like the way you take out time for eating,
Mm,
uh, you know, eating, sleeping, and doing whatever other activities you are doing. It has to become a part of your life.
yeah.
Only then it is going to give you results.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I understand sometimes the work schedules are very, very hectic. It is
yeah.
just not possible, but it's all about prioritizing your life and what do you value. And health is something which should be the topmost priority for everybody.
Yeah. So coming to that, I think what you suggested in the beginning, to start physical activity from the time the child is very young, very
Yes.
early on, because
Yes.
then it becomes the part of,
Yes.
your routine, your life, your habit. So when it
Exactly.
becomes part of you right now, see, as a child, physical activity was something that was only in school, and that
Yes.
too, most of us felt boring, right? We didn't want to participate in physical
Yeah.
exercises. And apart from that, at home there was no encouragement to go out and take part in some kind of yoga or sports. And that led us to have a sedentary life unknowingly, right?
Yes.
So as we have grown adult, it's not a part of us, and if it is not a part of us, to imbibe it and make it a habit, it's going to either take time, or it is very, very difficult for many of us. So those of you who have young children at home, please, please, please encourage them in any sort of physical activity, because if you want for them to have a healthy life, and it is inclusive of boys and girls, if you
Yes.
want them to have a healthy life, physical activity is not just about having good health physically, but your mental health will also be always in check, isn't it, Nitika?
Yes, yes, you have concluded this perfectly. So yes, I absolutely. If you start early in age, it becomes a part of you. It becomes a habit, and there's never an effort to do that. It's it becomes really easy, and you start enjoying it. And when you don't do it, you actually miss it.
Yeah.
This is what happens if you are able to do that later in life. It's a blessing if you are able to do that. But
Yeah.
yes, as Madhuri said, all of you have young children, make it a part of their life. Physical activity, any kind of physical activity. Children are very good at learning. Their bodies are like sponges, they absorb so much. And playing a sport for children is, very much attractive, as well as a very, very good form of having all the components of fitness into one activity. You don't have to do make them do separately. All of the things come into play when you are doing a sport.
Yeah, yeah. Whether it is a cricket or a badminton or a
Yeah.
tennis, you
Yes.
have to start with warm up. You have to do the extensive physical workout, and you have to conclude it with stretching. So it
Yes.
has its own entire package in it.
Yes, yes,
And
it's a complete exercise in its own, and
yeah,
there's a lot of mental work as well that you need to do when you're playing a sport.
right.
So we haven't touched that part, but to like, I mean, that could be another topic. That how do you prevent, uh, your brain from aging?
Hmm.
Physically, we have spoken about, but what are the things you need to do to reduce the speed of
Aging
aging
of
in
brain.
your
Yeah.
mind and your brain?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because neuroplasticity reduces as you grow old. But when you are in touch with any kind of physical exercises or activities, your
Yes.
neuroplasticity of the brain is still there. So
Still there.
even in a later age, the learning is not a challenge for you. It becomes easier, and the more, and the problems like Alzheimer's, as you've said, or even schizophrenia, and any and many other kind of mental disorders or mental health issues,
Mhm.
you can prevent them if you are encouraging or making imbibing this physical aspect of you know lifestyle in your daily life. So thank you, Nitika. Thank you for joining us today and sharing this invaluable insights. It was very, very important, because health is something we deprioritize. Especially women have this habit, because everything comes first: your child, your family, your in-laws, your food, your child's routine. But when it comes to our health, it's the least priority, right? So Please think about yourself. And I always keep telling every parent that you love your parent or you love your child only if you take care of your health, because your child needs you. He can get anything, and nowadays everything is readily available also. But if you are not around, imagine what will happen to your children. So if you love your children, you should take care of your health, and if you want to take care of your health, you have to join any kind of physical activity and keep continuing to do that.
Very well said, and it was my pleasure to be here. And we had like a really, really good session and very mindful and insightful interaction I had with you, Madhuri. So thank you for giving me that opportunity, and maybe we will have more interesting topics
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk about later and come back here again.
yeah, sure. Thank you all for joining, and you all have a good weekend. Have a good weekend to Dr. Nitika too. Take care, everyone. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.